catchy, isn't it? Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair coming at you with a serious stare. Underestimate me, don't you dare. That's awesome. All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world it is that you are. Welcome to a live stream of Political News Time meets IP2 Wiki Info News meets IRL 24/7 Live meets IP2 Black. I am your hostess, Alexandra Mayers, and I am super excited today, because today we are going to recap and commentate on and discuss the mayoral run of Mr. Jordan Poapst. I know him better as MC Frosty, and I'm so proud of him. He's a good friend of mine. He's someone that I only know from online interactions, never met him in person. I'm an American, he's a Canadian, but we've done some collaborations together artistically. He's really encouraged me and inspired me when it comes to my art, when it comes to the commentating that I do online in regards to the IRL community and some other things that I'm involved in. He's always been just a very bright element within my life. And I'm just so proud to have him as someone that I can consider to be a friend, you know? So today we are going to watch, I mean, he's the ultimate IRL streamer at this point because, I mean, he's a musician, he's an entertainer, he's a comedian, he's a commentator, he's an educator, and now he's going into the political arena. I've always been very interested in politics. I started politicalnewstime.com a couple years ago now. And it's not a project I keep up with too much, but I mean, what a perfect scenario for me to get to recap my friend's mayoral run debate because it coincides with this project. I can't wait to see what he has to say, what his platform is, what his stance is. I already know a little bit in advance, and I've purposely not said too much over in this camp when it comes to what he's doing because, and he's like, hey, I'm not even sure I'm going to do this. I don't know how far it's going to go, but I've quietly been monitoring, quietly been watching. But I'll tell you, just from a personal perspective, he did such a major favor for me last night. And those of you in the Cornwall area, and I do want to preface all this by saying in no way, shape, or form am I trying to encourage anyone to vote for anybody or not vote for anybody. It's not my arena. I'm an American. But just from a personal standpoint, he did me a big favor last night because I've been very critical of one of my fellow Americans down here in the States. And this is somebody within the IRL community. And we have been, fighting for over a year now, for a very long time. But last night, because I was catching up with Mr. Frosty over on my personal YouTube channel, we were just vibing a little bit about life and whatnot, catching up. His presence attracted my arch nemesis to actually join my live panel. I was shocked. And if it were not for MC Frosty's presence on that panel, he is such an excellent peacemaker. I don't think that he and my nemesis would have come to the understanding that we've come to. MC Frosty is the type of guy to where he's very fair, very neutral. He looks at a person and says to himself, okay, what qualities do I like in this person? How can I be friends with this person? Do I want to be friends with this person? Is this someone that I can be friends with and just be myself with? That's him. That's him. And he never looks at a situation or sides with anybody when it comes to things that don't involve him directly. At least when it comes to, that's how my perception has been when it's come to me. And I've just appreciated that because I am a very difficult person to get along with. One of the most difficult maybe on this planet, but he definitely helped to bring to a close a little something that was going on between me and another person last night. And he did so with grace, his signature charm, a little bit of a sense of humor, his logic, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it was very timely because I've been wanting to do a little bit of coverage, just mainly for my friends and associates within the IRL affiliated community, even those who are linked to IP2. So I felt like yesterday kind of paved the way for today. So let's go ahead and get started with some of his campaign videos. I want some of y'all to see this. Now, I haven't seen the second one. I've only seen the first one. So I'm going to see the second one fresh. But the first one, I mean, it has such a catchy jingle. And hey, Stephanie, how are you doing? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. All right. So let's go ahead and bring up the first one. Let's see. Print screen. Just give me one moment. And let's take a look at this first. I've seen the first one before.
Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair. Underestimate me, don't you dare. Coming at you with a serious stare. I'm currently on welfare. Cornwall, let me be your slave. Promise you that it will behave. Take a chance on me. Be brave if prosperity is what you crave. Cornwall, let me get your vote. We're all on the same boat. If you want change, I'm your only hope. Don't elect me, and that's all she wrote. Cornwall, may I be your mayor? Cornwall, let's focus on growth. As no pledge an oath to be honest and fair. Yeah, I can be both. Integrity is what we most. Cornwall.
I just do want to interject and let you all know that Mr. Poapst is the ultimate entertainer. He just is. All right, let's continue.
We've been led astray. Bernadette Clement just ran away. Left our city for a high pay grade. I promise you that I'm here to stay. Glenn Grant broke the code of conduct. The current mayor broke the rules. City council didn't penalize him. City council playing us for fools. Negligence is no excuse. Really should have known the rules. Re-elect Glenn for mayoral abuse. Incompetence is what you'll choose. Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair. Underestimate me, don't you dare. Coming at you with a serious stare. Cornwall, I'm your best choice. I'm the man with the loudest voice. Choose me, we be on a new political frontier this year. Vote blue.
And who wouldn't want to vote for a guy who's willing to show you exactly what he is really willing to do for you and show you just how he is chilling out at home? Believe it or not, this is likely not too different from most of your favorite politicians out there. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I'll tell you, I'd rather have a politician in office who's willing to be completely transparent like this, like this over here, than someone who is trying to act like they're perfect all the time, because nobody is. No one is.
If you don't vote, I'm calling on you. Sleaze the moment is 2022. If you've had a problem with the Cornwall cops, stick it to the man, vote Jordan Poapst. We love our city, gotta keep it clean. I don't just mean we gotta keep it green. Corruption is fought with accountability. A vote for me shows your sensibility. A vote for me is outside the norm. Vote me in if you want reform. A vote for me is a vote for you. Vote me in if you blazing too. I ain't saying that'll be your savior. I promise you, no unethical behavior. Spread the word, tell your neighbor, flip the bird, Poapst for mayor. Non-voters, all.
And I like that. I promise you, no unethical behavior. I believe him. I believe him. You know, his mayoral run actually has uncovered quite a few things that I think a lot of people were overlooking within their code of conduct and within their bylaws and all that kind of stuff. I mean, look, MC Frosty is basically a genius. He really is. And I'm not just blowing smoke up his butt like this guy might be about to do. He's incredibly intelligent. And that's why I love him. I think he's amazing. So yeah, let's continue. Let's continue with this. And this is such a catchy, it's such a catchy video. It's such a catchy song. Cornwall, Can I Be Your Mayor? I love it. I love it. He actually helped me write a song about a recapper that my sister was saying was incredibly catchy. He's an excellent songwriter.
All my hopes are on you, non-voters, I'm begging you, non-voters, all my hopes are on you,
non-voters, I'm pleading with you.
Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm currently on welfare.
And isn't it ironic that you got somebody up in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada, who's on welfare running for mayor? Yeah, it's inspirational. I mean, this is one of the most amazing political stories internationally, I think, that I've ever come across. It really, truly, truly is.
Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair. Underestimate me, don't you dare. Coming at you with a serious stare. Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair. Underestimate me, don't you dare. Coming at you with a serious stare. Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair. Underestimate me, don't you dare. Coming at you with a serious stare. Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair. Underestimate me, don't you dare. Coming at you with a serious stare.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. That is MC Frosty, Mr. Jordan Poapst. That is I love the hook on that. Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair coming at you with a serious stare. Underestimate me, don't you dare. That's catchy, isn't it? Cornwall, may I be your mayor? I'm the guy with the blue hair coming at you with a serious stare. Underestimate me, don't you dare. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's look at the second video. I haven't seen the second mayoral run video, so I'm going to be seeing that fresh with many of you out there. Let's take a look at that. Let's see. First, let's go back. Jordan Poapst, mayoral candidate, Cornwall, Ontario. It's titled Save a Welfare Bum, campaign video number 2. Okay. Disclaimer. Ooh, I like the beginning already.
In the next second, a welfare bum who has been cruelly abused by a thoughtless society might not survive. Every second of every minute during the pandemic, there was a man in poverty e-begging on the internet. Every minute of every day, there is a drug-addicted crackhead aspiring to be like Rob Ford. Every day of every week, there's an alcoholic spending his government check, getting shit-faced. Every week of every month, there's a starving artist who can't feed himself. Every month of every year, there's a lonely man trying to find his way in this world by tripping his balls off. Vote Jordan Poapst for mayor on October 24th, and you can rescue a welfare bum from endless suffering.
Yes.
Please don't forget, because there's a welfare bum leeching off society, and the next 4 years of his life could really depend on you.
This is awesome. I've always loved how he plays with the chroma key when he does his live performances. Always have. Yeah, October 24th, this month. This month is the election. All right, all right. Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting to see how this is going to turn out. I mean, regardless, he's already won. I was telling him last night, I was like, man, the moment that you decided to run, you won. Just because this is an accomplishment. When you get to a level in life to where you are inspired to serve your fellow man, your peers within your community, and become a public servant, that speaks volumes about your character. I happen to come from a fairly political family, and it really takes such a journey in life to reach a point to where you look around and you're like, I want to make my surroundings better, not only for myself, but for those I love, those within my family, those within my community, and even those internationally, because the moment that you do become a public servant within your community, you're not just affecting your community, you're affecting how your community is viewed by other communities, not only within your province, at least within the United States, within your state, but within your country, internationally. So I'm just really, really excited to see how everything turns out and how things go. All right, so we've seen both of his current. I think that's the only. There's only two as of current. I think there's only two campaign videos that he has out as of current. I'm just making sure. Yeah. But make sure that you do subscribe to the MC Frosty channel, my fellow Americans who love MC Frosty as much as I do, and everyone internationally subscribe to his channel, because he has created and produced so professionally of such high quality. I mean, everything he does is of a very high standard, but he's created so many artistic works. I mean, whenever he does a live performance on the internet, it is top notch. He's on a whole nother level from quite a few streamers. Very few. I have a small handful of my favorite streamers, and he's in there. He's in there. I've just, followed him for quite some time since I've, come into the IP2 affiliated IRL scene, and he's inspired a lot of my work. He really has. So just as an entertainer, as an artist, lend him your support. Take a look at his art, his media. It's amazing, all of it. And some of you out there, you might be like, he seems a little bit like a degenerate to me. Well, yeah, that's a part of the whole thing. That's a part of the whole thing. But I'll tell you, he's a beautiful person. He has a beautiful spirit, a beautiful soul. Anyone out there who thinks that magic isn't real, oh, it's real. It's real. He's the living proof of it. He is the living proof. Look at who's in here. Aw, Q45. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'll tell you, I would consider moving to Cornwall specifically because of MC Frosty. One day I might be up there. One day I might have to attain my Canadian citizenship. It'll be hard for me because I love being American. Team USA over here. But, somewhere I would at least think about visiting. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the debate. Let's get into the debate. Someone says that they prefer his Christmas collection. That was actually awesome when he put out that Christmas album, wasn't it? Wasn't it? He put out a Christmas album not too long ago. My favorite song from that collection was when he did Deck the Halls, when he did his edition of Deck the Halls. I thought that was pretty hot. That was cool. That was cool. All right, so let's get into the main attraction. Let's get into the meat of this particular live stream over here. We are going to look at the 2022 mayoral debate of Cornwall, Canada. Whoever would have thought I would have been doing a commentary on the mayoral debate of Cornwall, Canada? My first introduction actually to Cornwall, Canada is through was through one of MC Frosty's affiliates or associates or acquaintances. I don't know how they define their interaction nowadays. Probably friends. I don't really know. But Mr. Landon Tells is who informed the IRL IP2 affiliated community first about Cornwall, Canada. And dare I say, he kind of, sort of discovered MC Frosty as a live streamer. He introduced him, to my knowledge, to the IP2 community. And, things have just skyrocketed from there. You like the first Noel from his Christmas album? Okay. We might listen to some of the Christmas songs toward the end of this live stream because, hey, it is almost Christmas time. My favorite time of year. I am Christmas girl. I love Christmas. But yeah, okay, let's go ahead and get started. I think this is going to be so much fun to watch. I will provide my commentary throughout. I am enjoying a hard cider. I have to while we go through this. Just because I met Mr. MC Frosty while I was enjoying quite a few hard ciders. So, it's appropriate. It is appropriate. Here we go.
Municipal Mayoral Day, hosted by the Cornwall Ontario Chamber of Commerce in partnership with Your TV. My name is Bill Holman. I'm your moderator for this evening. And before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering on the territory of the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples, the original keepers of this land. As settlers, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years.
Wow, that's actually very interesting to me and very gracious that he's acknowledging the native population of that area. So I have a very good impression of, this particular political body within Canada. Mr. Bill Holman, I thought that he introduced this very well, very well.
A little housekeeping notes before we get started. Please silence your phones now. You have a chance. There is no video or audio recording in the room tonight by the audience. We will ask that you please remain seated. If you must exit during the debate tonight, please do so quietly. And please, no interruptions during the debate from audience members. All mayoral candidates for this municipal election have been invited to participate in this evening, and all rules have been reviewed and accepted by each candidate. Tonight, we are joined by our present mayor, Glenn Grant, James LaRue, Jordan Poapst, and Councillor Justin Towndale. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to make their opening remarks. The order of speaking has already been determined by a random draw. Following the opening statements, we will begin with questions. Questions that have been submitted by our chamber members.
Whoa, he looks straight up professional. Look at him. Oh my gosh. I am so proud of MC Frosty. He is sitting second from the left. I mean, what? He transformed it completely into a politician. Wow. Okay. You know what? I probably should have downloaded this and recapped it from a direct file, but that's okay. He looks great, doesn't he? Wow. Okay.
Each candidate will have the opportunity to respond to the questions with a 1-minute time limit. In the instance one candidate makes specific reference to another candidate, that candidate will then be allowed a 30-second rebuttal.
Okay.
If time permits, this is when we'll go to the floor for questions from local media. The media must identify which candidate their question is meant for, and that candidate will then have 90 seconds to answer the question.
I can't wait to hear what the questions from the local media are going to be. I'm excited about that. Oh
Each candidate will then be allowed 2 minutes for their closing statements, and the speaking order will then be reversed from the opening remarks. Our timekeeper, Angela, will indicate when the candidates have 20 seconds left on the clock by raising a yellow card. Go ahead and show everybody. There it is. And once the candidate has reached the maximum time allowed, she will raise a red card. In the case of a challenge, the decision of the moderator, that's me, will be final. I would ask the candidates adhere to the agreed upon format and exercise professional decorum throughout tonight's forum. Thank you. And we'll begin with the candidates' opening remarks. Our first candidate to speak, James LaRue.
James LaRue. Who's James LaRue?
I would like to help the city out and bring more prosperity to the city and work with. I work with different agencies like Children's Aid and Mental Crisis. I have a housing company, Helpful Housing, and I would like to work with the councilmen and bring a team together that we can bring more money and more prosperity to this city, and work really hard on helping out and work with QPP on settling all their differences. So they are the backbone of our city, and we need to change a few things.
Well, you know, I like his platform. I definitely like this guy's platform. He wants to bring more people. Okay. But the moment that I heard that he has a housing company, so he would profit from this. Not to say that most politicians don't profit from what they do, but definitely, I mean, without a doubt, he has a certain platform because he would, without a doubt, profit from it. But okay, seems like a decent guy so far. Let's continue.
I hope you guys will, help me become mayor so I can work together and work as a team in Team Cornwall. And we'd like to work with different people, like to help them eliminate some of the 4% on their beds so we can bring more people to the city and bring events to the city and work with the councilmen. And we can, I'm sorry, but.
He doesn't seem that prepared. I have to say that. I mean, maybe he's nervous. He's the first speaker and everything on this event, so I'll give him a break. But
work together. That's what basically I would like to do. I'm a small business owner. I've been here for 25 years working.
Well, you already said that. You already said that. And again, I think that, like, is this more of a commercial for your small business, or is this something that you're actually passionate about? That's what's in my head. I don't live in Canada. I'm not a Canadian. I'm an American. I'm just listening.
My business, and it's all been prosperity for me. So I'd like to share that and bring it to the city and help bring business and profit to this city and help with all different things and stop with doing road work and doing it twice and not. I'm good with infrastructure. And I'd like to, oh my God, this is freezing up here.
Oh my God, he's having a panic attack. Well, oh, I feel bad for him. Oh my God. I guess he didn't realize how long 3 minutes can be, because I believe that they said it was going to be a 3-minute opening statement. But see, this is why it is good when entertainers do go into politics, because like, look at some of our greatest presidents in the United States of America down here. Ronald Reagan, Hollywood royalty, actor, never froze up, ever, trained, because you do have to present well. It's important. I don't care how authentic or genuine of a person it is that you are. You have to present well when you are leading, be it a city, a state, a province, a nation. Time cannot exist for you. So this guy had a little trouble, but I don't think he's a bad guy. I'm just talking. It's an Alexandra Mayer's commentary for politicalnewstime.com. That's all it is.
It's up to you.
Okay, thank you.
Let's rewind.
And I hope you can vote
because
for me
he
on
freaked
October
out a little bit.
24th.
Wow.
And doing it twice, and I'm good with infrastructure. And I'd like to, oh my God, this is freezing up here.
Still have a minute, but it's up to you.
Okay, thank you. And I hope you can vote for me on October 24th. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, he did okay.
Our next
He did
candidate
okay. He did okay. But now for the main attraction. And again, I'm watching this fresh. Now for the main attraction, MC Frosty, Mr. Jordan Poapst. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. All right, let me make, you know what? I'm not even going to be on the screen. No. It's all about him. Here we go.
To speak, Jordan Poapst.
Hello, Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the invitation, and truly honored to be able to be running for mayor, head of council in this year's municipal.
Whoa!
A little bit about myself.
He looks amazing. Oh my God. Well, now we know MC Frosty, Jordan Poapst, he cleans up incredibly well. He looks dashing. He looks debonair. Look at him. He got the hair slicked back. I feel like there's like a blue aura coming off of him. Oh my God. I mean, look, he's not going to have to worry about dates for the rest of the year and beyond. Simply due to this. Doesn't he, Cardi? Oh my God. He looks amazing. I mean, the charisma is just coming through the screen. Look at him. He's sitting up straight. I mean, he always presents well. He knows how to present. But yes, I mean, look, he already won. He won. He's the mayor of Cornwall. This is amazing. All right, let me stop. Let me continue. I'm just such a big MC Frosty fan. I can't help myself. All right.
I have a work history starting off in sales, which went a little bit into the financial industry, working for Bank America and MBNA for a couple of years, and also experience in the manufacturing industry as a coordinator for a manufacturing line at Sigma Point. So some of the basically the foundation of continuous improvement has been instilled with me for growth and actually manufacturing prosperity is the way I'd like to see it. My reason
he's a businessman. I mean, this man looks amazing. I didn't even know that at one point in time he worked for Bank of America. I'm learning new things today. Look at him. I mean, who else would Cornwall want to be their mayor? I mean, between him and the first guy, it's like night and day.
Reason for running for mayor is I would like to, number one priority, help grow the population of Cornwall, which has remained stagnant for well, a little bit of growth in the last 5 years, but 2.6% or 2.4% in the last 5 years. That's about 0.6% per year. And that extends actually back to the 2011 census as well. So a few ideas that I have, first off, would be to actually attempt to amalgamate with some of the outlying areas of Cornwall, maybe even up to St. Andrews going north, Long Sault, Glen Walter on both sides.
He's mentioning
geographically
locations. He's mentioning details as to how he wants to grow Cornwall. The first guy, he kind of glossed over it, then he froze up and everything, and I don't really know. It kind of fell apart. But listen to Jordan. Oh my God. He's going into explicit detail as to how he will implement his plan. That's professional. That's political. And that is who the mayor of Cornwall, at least in my opinion, as a simple, humble American, should be.
And the boundaries of Cornwall to allow for more development areas and for people to move to. Secondly, I also believe that the municipality has an obligation to provide a strong foundation to the residents in terms of the Charter of Human Rights or Charter of Rights and Freedoms throughout Canada, or for Canadian citizens. So that involves providing life, liberty, and security to everybody who lives here. I believe that one major area of opportunity is our security force, as in the Cornwall Police Service. Since the last census, we've had approximately 38% rise in crime incidents reported. And one of the major mandates of the police service is to have crime prevention. I do have
Wow. I mean, just listen to how detailed he is. Detailed. I mean, you had a business owner come on first as a first person. He made some decent points, not knocking him for trying. But you have this man who's been on welfare, who's been struggling, and he's coming out like a shooting star out of the night sky. Cornwall, may he be your mayor? He should be.
Personal experience to lean on. However, I don't think we're getting our money's worth, and we could probably save about 1/3 of that budget, which is about $24 million per year, just by getting the OPP,
Wow.
Ontario Provincial Police, to take over. In terms of commerce, in terms of business, I believe that we also need new industry in Cornwall. I think we're missing a major opportunity in the growing cannabis market. So maybe we'd be able to attract large-scale grow operations. And in terms of tourism, also amending some bylaws to allow for more public consumption of this new product in our economy, which is... Yes,
because I personally need a vacation. I would really love to come to Cornwall to visit where I live in Texas, in America. Unfortunately, we do not have the complete recreational availability of cannabis. Cannabis is a huge industry. And so many Americans and other people from other countries, and even people within Canada, would flock to Cornwall. Think about the dollars. Think about the money. I mean, Cornwall has the potential of becoming a multi-million-dollar hub. Should Mr. Poapst become elected mayor? And again, I don't live there, but I'm just looking at this as a political analyst, an amateur political analyst at politicalnewstime.com. I'm Alexandra Mayers. But this is amazing. And this goes to show the future. We are looking at the future of politics within Jordan Poapst. It will be the podcast host. It will be the entertainers who have struggled and who have been poor, who have been on government assistance, but who want to rise from the ashes like a phoenix and make this world a better place for everybody. Because, over the years, as I've watched Jordan, I have watched him truly become the best version of himself. And he's not done yet. He's not done yet. This is just a tip of the iceberg. Oh, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. Okay, let me continue. Sorry.
still growing. But either way, I really hope you vote for me. I am a different person from what I've observed from our previous leaders. I won't quit either after 3 years, just so you know. And I hope you vote Jordan Poapst in this year's election. Thank you very much.
Woo! That was amazing. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was smooth. That was sexy. He had it going on. That was it. That was it. That was it. I mean, that is put a 1 in the chat if you think that is the ultimate. I mean, I'm not even sure that Cornwall deserves them, to be honest with you. I mean, that was slick and genuine and authentic. That was great. Oh, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. That was an amazing delivery. It came from his heart. He was so prepared. So, okay, let's go ahead and watch the others. Let's watch the others now. But yeah, I mean, he's set to usher in a new, just a new era of prosperity for that city. And I mean, he could go anywhere and do well. I mean, we have seen everything about this man. Everything. He has showed us his most intimate moments. He has showed us, you know, his most unflattering moments. He has showed us now the politician. He's great. That's why I'm an MC Frosty fan. I mean, hell, that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate. All right, let's watch the others now. Let's see how it
Glenn
goes.
Grant.
Sego, bonsoir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Glenn Grant, and I'm
All right, this
asking
is
to be
Glenn
your-
Grant. Glenn Grant opened. He didn't just open in English. He had to show off that he knows another language. Okay. All right. Let's see what Glenn Grant has to say.
4 years. Over the last couple of months, I've had a number of residents come up to me and ask me, why do you want to be mayor again?
Why?
And my answers come back very easy. This is the most exciting time in our city. It's exciting to be on council and being the mayor of this community.
Well, it's super exciting now because of MC Frosty running. That's why.
Our city has never moved so fast and so positively in our history. I'll give you an example. Today, I had the opportunity to go to the Loblaws Shoppers warehouse distribution center. And driving through there, I haven't driven through in the last months, and it's exciting.
Well, wait, you haven't driven through in the past few months, but you're saying it's exciting. Why haven't you driven through in the past few months? Why don't you go there? Are you active enough in your community, Glenn? Or do you only hang out within your little, clique? I wonder about that. I mean, I know that MC Frosty, Mr. Pops, always is walking around his community because all I have to do is log into his live stream to see. I actually feel like I know Cornwall specifically because of MC Frosty's YouTube channel. I mean, why would a very simple, humble woman from Houston know about Cornwall with the exception of Jordan Poapst? He introduced me to Cornwall. I never heard about you, Glenn, because you apparently don't go outside very much. You haven't even gone to the most exciting area of your city in a few months. It must not really be that exciting. What's going on? Good question, Q45. What's the price of a gallon of milk, Glenn? Siren says that he's just at the country club. Maybe. Is there a country club in Cornwall? I don't really know. It's not somewhere that Mr. Pops will be able to go because he's been struggling. He's a struggling artist on welfare. All right. There's a 38% increase in crime under Grant's leadership. Glenn, doesn't sound like you're doing that good of a job. I don't live in Cornwall, but I'm listening to what the chat is informing me of. Yes, Frosty walks and bikes. And you know what? You have to be healthy to be a politician because there is a tremendous amount of stress that could potentially come upon you. So you must have a healthy heart. So, yes, Mr. Poapst is getting outside and exercising, not only because he wants to, but because of necessity. So, anyway, let's continue.
Prosperity, the buildings, it's exciting. And to go in that building, to look at the matrix that run that one part of it, and we'll run the other part, and the robotic, it's really invigorating. Then we went to St. Lawrence College, and I witnessed a number of females welding. They're booming. And St. Lawrence College got into an agreement with the distribution for unique equipment for the robotics there.
So he's trying to appeal to the young people by referencing robotics, matrix. Maybe he has like this way of seeing himself as like what, Neo? I don't think so. Okay, continue.
That's my day today. Over the last 15 months, I've had the pleasure to lead a council.
I thought the same thing, Cardi Lee. Let's pause. I was wondering, see, I wasn't going to say anything about his face looking red because I don't want to, you know, I'm a Black woman. I'm African-American. You know, I didn't want to focus on things that, you know, because sometimes white people can look, you know, flushed. And there's a myriad of reasons as to why. But Cardi Lee, I know for a fact, is a very keen observer. And she's wondering, does Glenn have high blood pressure? Or is he a drinker behind the scenes to where we don't know? I mean, we know everything that MC Frosty does. He shows us. He's totally transparent, which is a very beneficial thing for a politician to be. Very transparent. But with Glenn, you know, I just didn't want to say anything. It could be rosacea. It could be. We don't know. You know, I just didn't want to focus on skin or skin color or anything because I don't want anyone to focus on my skin color or anything. But thank you, Cardi, for contributing your thoughts on this because I think that a mayor should be in good health and, you know, definitely should not be an alcoholic. Not saying that this man is, but Cardi is a keen observer. So I did want to acknowledge Cardi's comments.
That has been described as the most progressive council in our history. And I agree with it. The councillors are open-minded. We've made decisions that are unique to this community. And it's been refreshing. We've had efficient meetings and our administration have worked well with us. And everything's positive in this community. I could talk about a number of...
No, not everything is positive in your community. Not everything. And the reason that I have been led to believe that and know, even because I've done my research, you know, I'm a fan of MC Frosty. So every once in a while, I'm like, hey, what's going on in Cornwall? Let me look at the Cornwall news. And not everything is positive in Cornwall. No, Glenn. No, I actually feel that that is a fraudulent and false statement that you have made. I'm not comfortable with that. Not everything is positive in Cornwall.
Issues. I don't make promises. I don't make promises because I can't fulfill them without the council behind me. I have objectives, like I did when I first started on council. I had a goal to change our rink infrastructure. I had a community committee and we built the Benson Center.
I'm not sure I like what he just said. He said, I don't make promises because I have to have the backing of the council. That's essentially what he just said. Okay. But it sounds like you're too reliant upon the potential negative vote or negative outcome, or maybe the vote not in support of you, Glenn, which is why you're just kind of like, hey, just elect me and I'll just sit there and let the council just, dictate whatever it is that's going to happen. I'm just not getting the impression that he's very passionate. I'm not getting that.
Cooperation from council and a good committee that raised over $2 million to get that done. I have a goal for the waterfront, the acquisition of the waterfront. To me, from all our studies with our residents, they want the waterfront developed. That is what we're going to be doing in the next 4 years. I think we're almost at a decision with the government, and we will then be moving.
So for 4 years, he wants to focus on the waterfront. That's what Glenn's plan is to do for the next 4 years. I mean, here's the question. Is this a project that realistically will take 4 years, or is that just what you want to stretch it out to because of certain contractors who may be major campaign donators to you, who want that particular project? Like, why is it going to take 4 years? Is this a project that could be completed in 2 years? I don't know, but it just seems like it's interesting how that seems to be like the main project. Okay.
Forward on that file.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Who's next?
And for opening remarks, we turn it to Councillor Justin Towndale.
Good evening. Bonsoir. Second. Je m'appelle Justin Towndale et je présente candidat pour maire de la ville de Cornwall. My name is Justin Towndale, and I am presenting myself as a candidate for mayor here in Cornwall. I do apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from a cold, so I sound a little odder than usual, but please bear with me. A little bit about myself.
Okay, so like the other guy, he came out, showing that he knows multiple languages. Well, that's good. Okay. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see how Justin goes.
It has been my honor and privilege to serve as one of your elected councillors for the past 8 years. We are now coming to the end of that, my second term. And over those 2 terms, I've done my best to serve the residents of Cornwall to the best of my ability and for the best interests of the city. But now I believe it's time for a step up and a step forward. I'm running for mayor because I feel the city does need new direction. I feel that what we're doing is working, but we can always do better. In my other job, I'm the officer with the S&G Highlanders. I'm also a small business owner, and I have invested in businesses in the community in the past. I was raised here.
Okay, now I would have to say this might be the guy who's a little bit difficult to beat. This might be the guy who's hard to beat. Yeah. He's young, passionate, definitely career politician. He seems to have his shit together. Let's keep listening.
Here, and I do love this community. I truly believe in this community. I want this community to succeed, and I want us to succeed together. We will succeed if we work together, and that's my goal. When it comes to my platform, I do believe that our most important issue facing us today is housing. The housing crisis is something that is national across the country. We need a shelter. Homelessness has changed. It is no longer invisible in the city. It is now very visible. We also need to work.
Okay, so he's going back to the housing situation in Cornwall, which is admirable. Okay. Now, again, whenever they talk about the housing, it does make me wonder, okay, exactly who's behind them? Who is putting money in their pockets? How are they actually going to solve this? Let's see if he actually has some sort of plan, some sort of an answer, because really the housing isn't enough. Part of the reason that most likely they have a lot of homelessness may have to do, and I could be wrong, but it may have to do with lack of career opportunities. It's not enough just to give somebody a place to live. You have to educate them and give them an opportunity to take care of themselves. So I'm just saying.
On additional affordable social housing projects in the city. We have 2 on the go, and that's great, but we need to keep that momentum going. The Pitt Street project at the 401, for example, we are starting phase 1 shortly, but there are 2 or 3 more phases to complete. We need to make sure those get done. And there are other things we can do as well, like partnering with developers to build affordable housing. This is similar to what we did for the project at Pitt and Second.
But how is it going to be affordable if the person doesn't have an income? I'm sorry, but if I lived in this particular city, my vote, and we haven't listened to everything he has to say just yet, but my vote would be for Jordan, because Jordan is talking about expanding the city. He's talking about bringing in new businesses to give people jobs. I don't care how affordable the housing is. How are you going to afford it if you don't have an income? So there needs to be more growth in that city, just from everything I'm hearing.
Tied into this is also property standards. We need to really start looking at this. This is an issue that affects a lot of the city, but primarily in the East End. There is a lot of substandard housing that is present, and this affects people's living conditions. We need to look at the enforcement of this to ensure that people have a safe and comfortable place to live. Further to this, permits. Right now, I am hearing that this is a serious issue in the city. We cannot build more housing for people and support developers if we are tied up with permits. Second priority for myself is doctors. I do not have a family doctor currently. My doctor was downsizing his practice and I was let go as a patient. This is something that I feel that a lot of residents can appreciate because they're in the same boat. It's time we take a look at our medical recruitment scholarship and medical recruitment fund and medical scholarship, my apologies, and change the criteria. Because right now we need to look at attracting more doctors and more specialists, as this includes foreign trained doctors.
Okay, foreign trained doctors. But what about the people in your own city? So you want to bring in additional employees, professionals from outside of your community. But what about the employment opportunities for people within your community? I would look just at when you look at the times that we live in, when you look at where we are in life right now. If I happened to live in Canada, which I don't, I'm just a little Black woman in Texas. That's all I am. But I do know that it's important to employ and give opportunities to people within your own community. And this person wants to go outside of the community. He's not talking so much about creating businesses from people from outside the community. He's talking more about bringing in just individual. Hey, Ken, how are you doing? Ken is a Canadian. He's been a long time watcher of me for a long time. Yeah. Oh, we're already on it. We're already on it. But no, Frosty is just a friend of mine, and I wanted to go over his mayoral debate and see what was going on. So let's continue with Justin.
Finally, finances. We need to be fiscally responsible. We need a budget process that is responsible. It does not shift the entire burden to the residential sector. It is hard to absorb these tax increases all the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Justin definitely wasn't as smooth of a presenter as MC Frosty. I felt that MC Frosty definitely had a more detailed, straightforward, helpful outline when it came to his platform and his stance when it comes to what he would do as mayor within his community. I mean, really, in the opening statements, Jordan Poapst dominated, at least in my opinion. That's what I think. You know, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about this? I think he did great. He did great. All right, let's take a break, everybody. I'm gonna take a little break, and then we'll come back and we'll, continue with watching what's going on up in Cornwall, Canada, Cornwall, Ontario, Canada, the 2022 mayoral debate. We will be right back. Yes, I agree, Cardi. I agree. And Ken is not in the same area as MC Frosty. He's in Western Canada. But I mean, really, I can't look, MC Frosty did amazing. That was amazing. Super duper impressed, super happy. All right, so I'm going to come back in just a few moments, and then we'll continue with watching this. This is so much fun. This is a really fun time, isn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and look at the chat very quickly. All right, Amber's upset because she's unmodded. Now look, Amber, you know that there's no status symbol or anything like that with a moderation label or a wrench, whatever people want to call it over here. I'm just simplifying things. I only have like 3 mods right now. That is it. I'm not a mod. Am I a mod with anybody? I don't think I'm a mod because I don't care to be a mod. It's doesn't matter to me. And you know that you can say whatever you want to say in this chat, Amber. So, you know, don't be like that. Okay. Q45 says that you modded him. I don't understand this whole thing with mods. It's silly. It's silly. I mean, I'm the mod. I'm moderating. It's my channel. I only have mods really to keep the N word out of here for the most part. That's really all that I have a mod for. That's it. And yeah, Cardi, Frosty blew me away. I mean, look, I'm so impressed with him. I am so impressed with him. That, I mean, what a story. Look at this as like a story. You got this guy, simple, everyday Joe, live streamer. You know, he's done a whole lot of things in his life. And he just was looking around at his surroundings. He was like, okay, how can I better serve my community? How can I better serve my family? How can I pull myself up? How can I be the best version of myself? And that's what he did. Okay. Cardi says, if I Googled the right Cornwall, it shows that population right now is under 50K. That's a good size. Yeah, it's a decent size city. That he's in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. Don't mistake that. I think there's a Cornwall somewhere in Europe. Don't get the two confused. You do have to, you know, be specific about which Cornwall it is that you're looking at. Yeah. Yeah, Q45 says it's only Cornwall in Canada. Okay. Anyone know if Good Times is alive? I just talked to him last night and we came to an understanding with everything. He is alive as far as I know. He was definitely, you know, on a certain bender or whatever, but you know, maybe it was meant to be, because I'm glad that we could come to an understanding when it came to a few things. That was good. But that doesn't really have to do with this. But what I will, well, it does have to do with this, because if it weren't for Jordan, I don't think that understanding would have occurred. So that's a good thing. All right. Yeah, he probably did. He probably went to sleep hammered. That's for sure, Ken. All right. Yeah. Everyone's impressed with Frosty from the IRL community. We're all impressed. That's why I wanted to do this stream tonight, just to show him off a bit, because he looked great. Didn't he look good with his hair slicked back? You know, you still saw the blue. It was like a little, like a halo, like an aura that he had going on. He looked amazing in that suit. And a little bit of a backstory. That was a $9 suit. Goes to show, it's not the suit that makes the man, it's the man who makes the suit, because he looked amazing. You know, I've always said that MC Frosty, Jordan, reminds me a little bit of a musician and an entertainer and an actor known as Jared Leto. I've always paralleled the two, always, because they both have that same sort of charisma, that social grace, that authenticity, all of that. He is just like my IRL Jared Leto. And Jared Leto is also very politically minded. Extremely so. Extremely so. Let's see. Yeah. Me too. You know what, Cardi? You should do that. You should do that. Part of the reason I wore this top today is because this is like his signature color. And I was like, okay, I got to show my support. I got to show my support of Jordan and MC Frosty. And keep in mind, I'm an American. I'm in Texas. I do not live in Canada. We're just doing a commentary on his thing over here. But yeah, you find a lot of awesome things at Goodwill. And that's why it's really cool, actually, that he's running for political office in his area, meaning Jordan, because he knows what it is to be poor. He understands what the struggle is when it comes to living in his city. And I think that that's very important for a politician, you know, to create solid change. Quite often in a community, there has to be a leader who has been in the trenches, someone who knows exactly what it is to be down and out, someone who knows what it is to struggle, not necessarily somebody who's been a pampered prince for far too long. And exactly, that's the magic. He can make something out of nothing. That's what Respectfully Disagree says. It shows he can make something out of nothing. And anyone who can make something out of nothing, I mean, that really goes back to the biblical times, making something out of nothing, turning water into wine, feeding the masses from just one loaf of bread. So let's go ahead and continue. Someone's saying, go to a Goodwill in a rich area, it turns into Goldwill. Wow, what a cool thing to say, Q45. I like that. Let's bring that back up. Go to a Goodwill in a rich area and it turns into Goldwill. You should put that on a t-shirt. That's a really cool thing to say. I've never heard anybody ever say that. That's a phrase I believe is very unique to you, Q45. All right, so here we go. Let's go back to where we were and see what's going on.
All right. Thank you, all of you, for opening statements. Let's begin with the questions. Question number 1, and this will be starting with Jordan. It's often said that small business is the backbone of a community. I think we can say that safely for Cornwall. And here in Cornwall, that is particularly true. What's your view on how the municipality can support small business to ensure their footprint continues to grow?
So I'm somewhat a small business owner myself. I do own an entertainment label called Ruin Life Crew, which I
Woo! Yes! We got to pause there. For number 1, he's the first question. That speaks volumes. The first question comes from the audience, and is asked of Jordan, MC Frosty. All right, let's listen to his answer. Let's listen to the answer. This is awesome. Someone in the chat says, I've always liked Frosty, but I have a new respect for him after tonight. Yeah, I think many of us do. I mean, this is amazing. Okay, let's listen to his answer.
I drive my online persona, MC Frosty, from. One of the major things that I've incorporated into my business, which I believe Cornwall is lacking in, is the foresight for digital currencies, cryptocurrency, and the adoption of this type of thing. There's a $1 trillion market in the digital currency market. I'd like to see Cornwall's basically administration accept cryptocurrencies as forms of payment for taxes and that type of thing, and also help perhaps educate local businesses on how to incorporate digital currency into their business using blockchain.
Wow. He's ready to take, I mean, look, he's about to take Cornwall into the future. He's talking about cryptocurrency. He's talking about the future of how all of us conduct our daily lives. All the people conduct their daily lives, because money is nothing more than the translation or the manifestation of energy. And no matter where you are in the world, more and more and more people are doing online business with, even if they have a physical product that they're selling, a digital product. cryptocurrency is where everything's, going. So he is willing to educate. And that is the key to the future. He wants to educate his community when it comes to just your everyday life, how to move into the future. This is really quite the answer, but let's continue.
Blockchain technology, I think it's where the financial industry is headed and where Cornwall needs to be.
Thank you very much. We move over to Mayor Glenn. Same question goes to you. It's often said small business is the backbone of the community. What's your view on how the municipality can support small business to ensure their footprint continues to grow?
Well, we have the Cornwall Business Center that's located in the complex. And they've delivered program and services such over $300,000 in grants and to the Starter Plus group. There's a full list of services that are available there. We have helped the businesses through the pandemic. There's many ways that we've helped them through the CPEG grants, whether it's to beautify their buildings. So there are many grants available for businesses right now to assist them. So I think we have a good record of assisting businesses through the pandemic and in the future with our grant programs.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from Glenn is that he's really not open to expansion. He is talking about giving some funds from whatever the giant pot of money is within Cornwall to people who are struggling, as of current. But I would have thought he would have at least talked about something pertaining to the cryptocurrency. Something. Someone said, Ken doesn't think that he was paying attention. I don't think that he's knowledgeable about certain things. That's what I would think. Okay, let's continue.
To you, Councillor Towndale.
Thank you. So I am a small business owner and I can appreciate the needs of small business. And I think we need to continuously look at programs that we offer to make sure they're relevant, current, and effective. And by doing so, we need to reach out to the 2 DBIAs in the community, as well as the Chamber of Commerce, and communicate and have discussions on what the needs of business are on a regular basis. And this could be quarterly meetings, this could be something more frequent, but we need to hear from businesses what their needs are and tailor our programs to their needs.
Okay, well, he's actually making a good point. He's basically saying that there needs to be more communication between business owners and government. Okay, I can't knock him for that. And this man is a small business owner. It sounds to me as though Justin has felt that either he or his peers have not been heard. Now, that's why I personally feel that if Jordan Poapst were to be elected, if MC Frosty were to enter the equation, he would definitely be open to hearing from the community because he's been a part of the community. What I'm hearing from this particular man, Justin, is that he's definitely a good representative of his peers who he feels have not been heard, which is interesting. Very interesting. Let's continue with this video.
We did have some good programs during the pandemic, as the mayor alluded to. Our Brownfield Fund became a grant fund for businesses, and we provided loans through that. And that's something that we could look at doing again. But I think we need to be in communication with businesses and make sure that our Economic Development Department is also supporting them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good answer.
And last word goes to you, Mr. LaRue.
Well, the backbone, I am a small business owner. Mm-hmm. So I look at things like extra taxes on businesses. All I've been hearing is their taxes are too high. They get no services for garbage pickup and stuff like that. And then we got people advertising from out of town that like for furniture stores from St. Sick, they advertise in town and they take away business from, because we say we got to buy locally, right? So I think we should help some business owners like motels. Poor
James. I don't even want to show. I don't want to showcase James very much. I feel bad for James. He's having a panic attack. Shit. Poor James. Oh no. He's trying really hard, but James is definitely voicing the concerns of the people within, whatever his clique is within Cornwall, definitely. And I think that I admire James for getting on that panel and doing what he's doing to voice his concerns and everything. And he's brave, he's got courage, but this isn't the job for him. I think that James just is probably a really good business owner, probably a good community hub. I think that James probably cares, but James is not built for politics. And I don't think James did prepare enough. And, when it comes to this kind of thing, 95% of it is preparation. But he is talking about something important, which is creating opportunity financially and jobs within the community instead of pulling people out of the community to spend their dollars. Or what do they call the currency in Cornwall? I don't even know. Is it dollars? Currency? Well, whatever, their wages. So he is making a good point, but I'm afraid he's going to have a heart attack on that panel. Let's continue. I'm not going to make him big.
They're charged 4% on each bed that they got. So they have to raise their prices and bring people people can't afford to stay in a motel, and when we have events and stuff like that, it helps everybody out. And that way we could work together and to prove that we can help out.
Okay, thank you very much.
He wants to prove that they can help out. They're going to help the motel owners out. Poor James. It can be, public speaking can be very scary for some people, but that's why if you are going to go into politics, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to go in front of an audience, feel comfortable and whatnot, present, because really but I think that James is authentic. Yeah, I think he is. I think he tried his best. But he's no Jordan Poapst, MC Frosty. Okay, let's keep going.
We're on to our next question, and we'll start with Mayor Glenn Grant. Tourism has been particularly hit hard over the last couple of years. Now, as we find ourselves in the recovery phase, it continues to face challenges such as labor shortages. With the importance of tourism to this region, how do you see the municipality supporting this sector over the next few years?
Now, I'm interested to hear Glenn's answer on this. I definitely am, because as someone who may think to themselves, hey, I want to go visit Canada. I want to be a tourist. I want to go to Cornwall for whatever reason. Let's see what's going on. So, let's see what Glenn has to say. And someone in the chat is saying improv theater is a great solution for public speaking. Absolutely it is. Yes. There's an organization called Toastmasters that really helps. Good to know. Good to know, Ken. Good to know. All right, let's see what Glenn.
Thanks for the question. We currently have a tourism group in our city led by Kevin Lajoie, who they host, they give assistance, they give, whether it be in kind or other assistance to hold festivals. And this year we've had more festivals, better attended festivals than we have ever had.
Okay.
And I talked to a hotel owner just 2 weeks ago, and I was asking him how his business was. He said it's the best season he's ever had. And he attributes it to a number of things. And one is the number of festivals and sport events, et cetera, that we have in our community. I don't think.
Now, wait a minute. We just had, because see, I believe that James was actually being very authentic. James was talking about the motel owners. You know, there is a difference between a hotel and a motel. Motel is for people like me. I'm poor. So if I were to visit Cornwall, Canada, I would most likely be in a motel. And James was saying that the motel owners are struggling, which would translate to maybe the motels not being as nice as I would want them to be. Now, this man, Glenn, is talking about a hotel owner that he was speaking to, which is probably his friend, because we know that he hasn't even driven around the most exciting area of Cornwall in over a month. That came out of his own mouth. But he's saying that things are going better for him than forever, you know, than for a long time. Well, because probably people like me who would be foreigners would not want to stay at the struggling motels. We would shill more dollars to the hotel, which is probably nicer, but that's taking away from the motel, and that would eventually in time shut down the motel. So, you know, that's just my commentary. That's my thought, but I'm hearing something.
There's a problem with our tourism. I think we have done all the right things to attract tourists into our community through our tourist grant programs, et cetera. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Town.
All I heard in that answer was elitism. Hate to say it, but that's all I really heard in that particular answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward.
Thank you. So, you know, a number of years ago in 2017, I was involved with an event, Summer Beer Fest, which was a tourism draw for the city. And we could, you know, there were hotel nights and whatnot. And I think our tourism department does a great job. But I also think we could ask them to do a little bit more. We can always do better. I think there are a lot of organizations in town that put on events that have a draw that may draw from beyond the city. So our tourism department could promote those events as well. They may not be major events, maybe just a comedy show at the port, but that could still bring in people from the surrounding area. So those kinds of things like that. Tied into the tourism sector is the hospitality sector, like hotels, like restaurants. I've spoken to restaurant owners and some hotel owners as well. And, you know, you mentioned having an issue with labor. One of the things I've heard is Sunday service for transit, because they're having trouble having employees come to work or scheduling them. You need them to come in, but they don't have a way to get to work on Sunday unless they take a taxi. And that can be expensive. So I think it ties into that, because we need to make sure the sector can operate, and that's part of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a really good answer. That was a good answer right there. Justin, he mentioned that he mentioned just the struggle of people even being able to get to work. See, that's why I do like Jordan's stance of bringing in new business to give maybe people who believe that they're unskilled, but who actually may embody skills that are just not in demand as of current within their community, jobs. And they do need to expand whatever the public transit thing is that they have going on to Sundays, just so that the poor people can get to work. It's almost like the current administration has the agenda of keeping the poor poor and not giving them any opportunities. And if that's the case, that's pretty damn sick. Why would you want to maintain a permanent underclass unless you think you're just like a little king on a throne? Is that what Glenn thinks? Oh, Chicken Cakes. How are you doing, Chicken Cakes? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. And yeah, there needs to be tourism. They need more dollars from the outside within that community. That's what it sounds like. Most definitely. All right, let's continue.
Same question to you, Mr. LaRue.
The labor shortage, there's a lot of people in this town that did stupid things when they were young, and they all have like little criminal records and stuff like that, and they're having a very hard time to get a job because everybody does a criminal search on everybody. So I would like to start a program where the city helps out with a pardon to help more people get back to work, and they would pay half of their pardon back And it might cost us right now, but we could build our labor pool a lot bigger because it stops everybody from going to work.
That's interesting what he just shared. Wow. That's a very good idea. And he's right. Look at that. He's not the best presenter, not the best speaker, but he just told the truth about what has happened in Cornwall. You have a bunch of people who are homeless because of their criminal history. And the question is, what exactly are the crimes? What's considered the crimes that are rendering people unemployable in that particular city, which is why, going back to Jordan's idea, bringing in new businesses that may be a bit more fair or more lenient when it comes to who they employ. It sounds like you have a current infrastructure in that city to where they are, without a doubt, trying to keep a bunch of people unemployed and poor and feeling bad about themselves, basically, so that the elite can maintain their status and keep a permanent underclass. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that is a great idea, isn't it, Cardi? Isn't it? Isn't it, chicken cakes? Look at that. Glenn just broke through a barrier. Uh-oh. We're learning the truth.
Because they got a criminal record. They might have had a little drug charge. They might have had a little assault charge, and they can't go to work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Poapst.
Thank you. So in terms of tourism, I think it would really help if we could build something large scale to actually make Cornwall a tourist destination all the time, all year round, rather.
Yes. Let's make him full screen. Hold up. Here's the superstar. Interesting.
Than just a temporary spot for festivals and that kind of thing. I would love to look into building, a casino or maybe a family-oriented amusement park, something that will attract people, will have people stay here multiple days, and also to complement that, I really think the city needs some improvement in the nightlife area. For instance, like, people like to have fun. They're on a Tuesday night. Can you go anywhere and dance your butt off? I haven't yet found one. I'd love to have one. So, inspiring more entertainment and hospitality area as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Good answer. Definitely. I like that he's thinking more so about long term rather than short term. He's like, okay, yeah, we need to become more of a destination. Just a festival here, some sort of a show here isn't enough. We need to put this town on the map. So again, Frosty, he's always been ahead of his time. I mean, he's basically from the future. I'm not sure if he has a DeLorean parked out back of where he lives or what, and somehow he came in a time machine from maybe the year 3000. But regardless, everyone who is aware of what's going on in Cornwall right now, make sure that you do subscribe to MC Frosty on YouTube. He is definitely a forward thinker. And I mean, Cornwall they need to realize how blessed they are to have that man. They are blessed. And yes, he's an amazing speaker. I mean, he's putting everybody else on that panel to shame. Not only when it comes to his platform and his ideas and how forward thinking he is, but how he presents. I mean, it's incredible. This is such an incredible story just to be covering. I mean, it's amazing. And it's real. This is the ultimate IRL.
Very much. Moving on to our third question. One of the most challenging problems at all levels of government right now is the cost of housing. Lack of access to affordable housing has an added impact of making it more difficult for our businesses to attract the workers they need. What are your plans to address housing affordability in Cornwall? Okay. And we will start with Councillor Justin Towndale.
Thank you, Bill. So I touched on this in my opening statement a little bit. Part of it is making sure we keep our momentum up on social and affordable housing. And I think, again, that ties into working with developers like we did at Pitt and Second to build affordable housing. We have 2 projects on the go that the city is.
Okay, so again, he's talking about working with developers within his area. Okay, so he's talking about putting dollars into where he lives. But again, what about if you're going to have affordable housing? The people have to have jobs. People have to be able to work. And James, I mean, I can't believe how much of a turning point that was that James brought up, that people cannot go back to work or work because of very minor criminal infractions. Wow. I mean, that's interesting.
Building that we've contracted out, but we need help. We can't do it alone. And that does involve going to the other levels of government for support there as well. I think tied into this is the permitting process. This can cause delays, and this results in less housing stock making on the market in a timely fashion. I also think further working with developers, we need to discuss the types of dwellings that are being built and what are available. A single family home may not be suitable for everyone. Same with semi-detached or townhouses. So that's a discussion we need to have as well. And I think if we look at it like that and look at partnerships and also factor in tax increases on that, we can make sure that rents and mortgages stay low. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now that's interesting what he said. Now he wants to make sure rents and mortgages stay low. Fine. But in a weird way, that's a slap in the face to the population in that area, because there is a potential for the population in that area to become very wealthy to where they can afford moderately priced housing if additional business influx comes in through some of the ideas that Jordan Poapst has proposed. So, you know, I guess I always just want to see people do the best that they can, and the people in that area, they can do better, but they do need help from outsiders, and outsiders can't come in there so easily as of current. So, okay, let's continue.
Same question to you, Mr. LaRue. What are your plans to address housing affordability in Cornwall?
Well, right now I'm already doing it. I have 40 rooms. I house a lot of people that are working people, and some people on disability, some people on welfare. And I'm already housing, I'm already doing it right now, and I want to make it grow so we can have more affordable housing, and then they could save money because I provide Wi-Fi and everything so they can get a job. Right now, they can't go anywhere. Like I said, houses, nobody could afford them. They get bumped out of the park, and I provide a place already for people to get ahead and have a means to save money and to keep growing, and so they can get their first house. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
He's a good guy. LaRue is a good guy. He sees the struggle too. He sees it too. He's not he doesn't have as many ideas as I would like to see out of him, but he's definitely coming forward with what the struggle is of Joe Schmo in Cornwall. He's not a pamper prince. LaRue is not. And I believe that he authentically wants to help his community. That's what I'll say about him. Am I a conservative? We're not going to talk about my political beliefs or thoughts today. This is about MC Frosty and Jordan Poapst. And hey, Doyle, how are you doing? How are you doing? All right. Doyle asks, true, don't they have a bad problem with homeless people in that area? Yes, they do. I would think that would be a high priority. It should be a high priority. Cardi Lee says, I'm surprised they're not speaking on crime. Let's continue with the video.
Poapst.
Thank you. So when it comes down to housing affordability, there's two sides to the story, right? There's income levels, which are quite a bit lower in the area, which are below the average Ontario employment income, where we're sufficiently at least 25% below that, and the median income in Ontario as well. And then we also have the price that's being charged for units. So one idea to give low-income people a little bit more money would be perhaps look into a municipal minimum wage, which would be higher than the provincial amount. We just had just go up to $15.50 per hour. I think somewhere around $18 per month per hour would help a lot of people, encourage them to get into the work, into the job market, and help give them a little more money to pay for their housing costs. That's just one idea.
Thank you very much. I'm going to add an addendum to that.
That's an interesting answer that he gave. Definitely reminds me a little bit of Yang, what Yang was proposing down here in the United States when he was running for president.
Question, maybe give you another minute to dig deeper into that question. What can the municipality do to encourage and support the development of more homes that are affordable to the average resident? And that goes to you, Councillor. Oh, but did you not? I'm sorry. Are you? I'm sorry, Mayor. I didn't realize you had an answer.
I gave my answer, but it was a mental.
It was that I heard it all up here. So before we go into that question, let me repeat the question for you, Mr. Grant, and that is basically, what are your plans to address housing affordability in Cornwall? My apologies.
No problem. I've been ignored by a lot of people. Over the last 4 years, we've had, and this started with Council or Mayor Bernadette Clement. We started with the Mayor's Task Force on Housing. It had a combination of our cross-section of our community that sat and developed recommendations. And there's 8 recommendations, and I have the document here on housing. It's a very comprehensive document. We're getting our first report at our next council meeting on the first results of these recommendations. That's one item. The other item, we need help from the senior levels of government. The municipality, they have their limitations when it comes to the amount of dollars that are available. We really need help from the senior levels of government. And we are working with Steve Clark at the provincial level. We had a report to him at a conference just this summer.
All right. Thank you very much.
This is 1 minute is not.
I know. I apologize, but I will expand on the question a bit now and maybe give you a more chance to answer the question. So we'll move back to Councillor Towndale. And it is, again, what can the municipality do to encourage and support the development of more homes that are affordable to the average resident?
Thanks, Bill. I think, excuse me, I touched on this a bit in my previous answer. I think it's working with developers closely, having those discussions. Like I said, we can't do it alone. And has been said here as well, we need to partner with the higher levels of government for funding. But when it comes to the building as well, we need help and we need those partnerships. I mean, to me, that's the easiest way forward, working together and working with our partners who are our neighbors as well, working with Akwesasne, working with South Stormont, South Glengarry, and the United Counties of STNG. We already do that because we share housing services with the United Counties. But I think it's a group effort. And I think coming together, planning it out, making sure everyone's at the table so we can do it as a partnership and not butting heads is the way forward.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's interesting. So the two people who are currently in, they have their roles within government. They want to keep things the same. That's really what I'm hearing from them. They do want to work more so with the senior level of their government. But see, here's the question that's in my mind. Why hasn't that already happened? There's a reason why. And it has to do with whoever's at that senior level of government, unfortunately, not having the best impression of Cornwall as of current and their current growth rate and just where they are. Just to really simplify what I'm saying is that the people at the top of the food chain don't feel that Cornwall is quote unquote good enough yet. So the question would be, how does Cornwall reach a level or a status of being good enough there needs to be more opportunity within to create wealth. You would have to bring in the businesses from the outside. You would, like what James LaRue stated, have to somehow be a lot more lenient when it comes to who can work. I love what James LaRue mentioned in regards to there being some sort of a pardon system. That was really thoughtful, extremely so. Cardi Lee liked what Frosty had to say. Oh, she's saying that in her town, people ran out of money. Interesting. Interesting. All right, let's continue.
Same question to you, Mr. LaRue. What can the municipality do to encourage and support the development of more homes that are affordable to the average resident?
Well, fast tracking some permits. That's the key thing. A lot of contractors are frustrated because when they go to do a permit, I, like myself, have self-experience. I asked for a permit to develop two-bedroom apartments 5 years ago. I still haven't got a permit, and I even had an engineer.
5 years ago. Poor LaRue. Oh, I feel so bad for him. He's real. He's keeping it very, very real. Here's what I'm hearing here. You have some corruption within this government. Shouldn't take any goddamn 5 years for a permit. It sounds like there's favoritism for certain contractors, maybe versus other contractors, and they're trying to starve these contractors by withholding the permits, most likely. Again, this is all a theory, to push them out to where there's like a contractor monopoly with certain people who are in good with whoever is currently in office. Wait a minute. Glenn, have you been bad? Let's continue.
I did all the proper steps, and I still haven't got that permit. So I don't know if there's some miscommunication in the city or something like that.
He's running for office for survival. Wow. I was hating on James before because he's not the most articulate, but he is exposing what is going on in Cornwall. And is Glenn behind it? Glenn? Permits. This man is a business owner. He's trying to create affordable housing with Wi-Fi. Very important, because that way people can have affordable housing. They can work from home. They can find international employment opportunities on the internet. Great. Go James. Okay. Loving James. James is not the best speaker, but he's getting it out there. Okay. And now we're learning that James cannot even expand what he's doing because they won't give him a freaking permit in 5 years. 5 years. Sounds like some corruption in Cornwall. Am I going to have to go full independent investigative blogger here when it comes to Cornwall? I think so. I think so. Uh-oh. What else is James going to tell us? Let's listen. Let's listen. Let's listen.
But I'd like to correct that. That's how you fast track building houses. It's red tape. There's too much red tape and too expensive. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, look, it's not even about fast tracking from what he's saying. He's talking about a normal pace that he wants. 5 years, he's saying it's taken. 5 years. And Glenn's in charge of this shit.
Question to you, Mr. Poapst.
Thank you. When I think about this, the obvious answer to me, which I don't even know if it's feasible, would be for the city to actually develop a department to compete with the private interests of rent, of people who are charging high whose prices have inflated from before the pandemic. So, along with one of the councillor candidates suggested a build it and we will come. I think Cornwall would benefit from having their own, development company essentially to build as needed, stable employment for workers, construction workers, and actually jump into the free market as a municipal organization to provide and compete with the private rates.
Thank you very much. Mr.
The
Grant?
private rates. I'm glad that he brought that up. Interesting. There is something funny going on in that city. It sounds like there are some private companies that have a monopoly of some sort. It is. Isn't I mean, that 5 years? That's a very long time. Think about it. 5 years. 5 years, if you're a parent, you have a kid in kindergarten, and then by the time that they're in 5th grade, you're just now moving forward with being able to move into a place that's more comfortable for you to live. I mean, that's a long time of struggle for a lot of people who are parents. Wow. Oh gosh.
Thank you. We have a number of CIP grants that are available as well. As mentioned before, there's buildings currently being built in the city where we can assist them with their taxes. And as Justin alluded to earlier, that the building at the corner of Pitt and Second, that is enticed them to build affordable housing in that area. And without those enticements, that's something the city can do, and we've offered it to other builders as well in particular areas of the city. So there are grants available to assist builders. My brother-in-law is a developer, and
wait a minute. Wait. We just heard a key. His brother-in-law is a developer. There it is. Because whatever this grant system is, it doesn't sound like it's really been beneficial to James LaRue and his crew and his clique, whatever's going on right there. But we just heard that Glenn Grant's brother-in-law is a developer. Let's rewind just a little bit.
Housing in that area. And without those enticements, that's something the city can do, and we've offered it to other builders as well in particular areas of the city. So there are grants available to assist builders. My brother-in-law is a developer, and he said he doesn't have any problems building in the city at all.
So his brother-in-law is a developer, and he doesn't have any problems building at all. Well, I wonder why that is. Is that because he's your brother-in-law? He's the current mayor. I don't have to say anything. There's corruption in Cornwall. That's right, Cardi. The brother-in-law of the current mayor of Cornwall doesn't have any problems. Yet poor James LaRue can't even get anything done for 5 years. And it took Jordan Poapst, MC Frosty, to run for mayor to make just a simple woman in Southeast Texas pay attention to this, and the rest of you who follow me too, to hear this. I mean, Cornwall needs to be up in arms from my perspective. They need to be up in arms. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's sick. It's sick. Look, I mean, I don't live in Cornwall, Canada. I don't know if I would. I mean, after this, Cornwall they might hire a hit person. Glenn might try to get rid of me. But we just learned about the solid truth of the corruption right here. Unless you're this man's brother-in-law, who's the current mayor of Cornwall, you don't get to build anything for 5 years. He shouldn't even get to be mayor anymore. Shouldn't there be like a thing having to do with nepotism or something? This is ridiculous. No. I mean, we heard it from his own mouth. And we heard it on a public panel, a political panel. James LaRue is helping people in his community with affordable housing. He's an independent business owner. He's doing his best to help. What did he say? He has 40 units. He would like to expand and help more people have affordable housing with the Wi-Fi, which is super important when it comes to them bringing in dollars from places outside of Cornwall, being that you have this weird sort of system to where if you have like a minor criminal infraction, it's hard for you to even get a job. And we don't even know what those criminal infractions may be yet. It might be something to where like maybe before cannabis was legalized or something, because that happened to a lot of African Americans in the United States. But you got this guy who's just all doing well. He's doing so well that he doesn't even go to the most exciting area of Cornwall, even though he's the mayor, in over a month. I mean, this is, yes, there needs to be new blood from our perspective when it comes to Cornwall. And we're not even in Cornwall. We're Americans looking at this. Let's continue with Glenn.
All right. Thank you very much. We will move on to the next question. I do promise you we will get back to permits. It's been up to the chamber a couple of times, so
oh, really?
We'll get back to that. But I want to move on to waterfront land, and that's what we're moving into. We're going to start off with a very simple question, and this question will be going to, I believe it is Mr. LaRue. Waterfront. What is your vision for waterfront land here in Cornwall?
My vision for waterfront land? That's been everybody's vision for the last 2 municipal elections. And every time they bring it up, nobody does anything about it.
So the last 2 elections, let's see how long Glenn has been in office. The last 2 elections, it's been brought up and no development has happened. Okay, I'm going to Google it. Cornwall, Canada, Glenn, mayor. How long has he been mayor for? (2021). How long has he been mayor? Has it been? Does anyone know? Do you know, Doyle? I mean, it seems like, okay, to seek 4-year mayoral mandate. Okay. Re-election. He's been in term at least 1 year. But they're keeping things the same. Let me look at the StreamYard. 8 years? He's been in for 8 years? So isn't that interesting? The waterfront, nothing's happened. And he was just talking about something taking 4 more years. He's not going to get anything done. Not Glenn. Anyone else but Glenn.
They talk about it. They don't look for they don't look for people to come in and invest in the waterfront to bring it to what it is. They say they want to bring it like Brockville, like Kingston. But every time they talk about it, nobody does anything for the 4 years they're in.
Interesting.
So how are we supposed to have a vision of something that we don't know because nobody does anything since 2010?
Wow.
I want to develop it, have concerts, have festivals, and do all kinds of things down there, bring hotels and everything. But nobody has done anything. So it's a question that everybody's been asking for the last 2 municipal elections.
It sounds like they want to keep every single thing the same. They want to keep that permanent underclass. They don't really want any outsiders coming into that city. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, Glenn, he kind of seems like he's somebody who he doesn't want in. I'm noticing something about Glenn. I am noticing something. You're wondering how much money has been slid into his own pockets within the last 8 years. Oh, Glenn. That's right, Doyle. We're wondering about Glenn, aren't we? Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And we'll ask it again. Mr. Poapst.
Yes, thank
All
you.
right.
So with the recent developments with the DevCore developments that are going on, I've seen they have a beautiful outlook or a beautiful picture of what's going to be on the waterfront. I really think it's important to add to that, like I mentioned, a casino perhaps, or some type of family-oriented amusement park, just to give people who are going to be moving here and living here a little more fun. It also serves as a tourist attraction as well. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens with DevCore, and I think that there's a lot of options that can develop off of what they have planned.
All right. Mr. Grant.
I definitely can answer in 1 minute. This has been one of my goals since that I've been on council, is the acquisition of the waterfront. And we've been meeting with the federal government to look at this acquisition. And in principle, we have come to an agreement, except there's problems with some of the liabilities that are there. Those discussions are ongoing. But we have a waterfront plan that's developed.
They've been ongoing for 8 years. 8 years.
And it covers just about everything you want in the waterfront. And I have to reiterate, there is no intention to move the ball fields. I have to clarify that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. As a matter of fact, I encourage them to lobby there so they can have evening games. There's so many other aspects. The Portlands, we have to
Hold your thought, because I'm going to come back around to the Portlands. So to you, Councillor Towndale, what's your vision for a waterfront in Cornwall?
Okay, this guy who's moderating is interesting, actually. He's excusing Glenn a little bit, just a bit. I won't say that he's not being fair, but I'm just seeing.
Thank you. So as Mr. Grant alluded, we have a waterfront plan. We both sit on the waterfront plan implementation group. I'm the chair of that group. And there are things happening. There are things moving forward right now. You know, we're looking at Point Moline finally, and potentially a new clubhouse for the ballpark. We're looking at a beach in Gano Park. We're looking at fixing the boat launch there. The plan contains a lot of ideas and a lot of great steps forward for the entire waterfront across the city. And I think that is something that is ongoing now and something we are working on. I think we should keep looking at that and working on that and work with our partners in our neighboring communities, all three of them. Legion Park has come up, and I signed the pledge not to move the ball diamonds. I've made that very clear. I think they should stay there. And
Justin is stressed. Justin is not a bad guy. But I think Justin has to answer to Glenn, and that's not good. Let me look at the chat. I want to know what y'all think. That 8 years. Yeah. There does need to be new blood in that office. Poor Justin. That's why Justin's sick. He's so stressed because of Glenn. Exactly, Cardi. The brother-in-law gets the contract on the waterfront, most likely. Justin is very smart, and Justin wants to do the right thing, but Justin has his hands basically tied behind his back. I can tell.
And there's no reason to move them. We can't consolidate everything at the Benson Center. But I think every part of the waterfront has its own options and activities to provide, and we need to develop the whole thing.
Right. Fair enough. I think we can agree that we're not going to move the ball diamonds. At least that's what everybody's saying. So I want to continue waterfront, but more specifically about the Portlands. Over the last, I'm going to say, year and a half, it seems to have been out of the news. And but we know things are going to be happening there. And so specifically, and I know that you alluded to it, Mayor Grant, and we'll get to that. But I want everybody's kind of view on the Portland, what they see it as being.
The Portland area?
The Portlands, yeah.
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 I really don't. I really don't know anything about that because there's no when you try to get public information, you have to pay $5 to get any type of information on it.
What? They don't even want to tell this man any information to where he can prepare for the debate. He has to pay for it. Oh no. There needs to be a full investigation into Glenn. Look at that. He's a developer. I mean, what? This doesn't make it. Well, this is crazy. Okay, so he can't even really answer the question because, he's trying to create affordable housing for, these people, give them Wi-Fi, help them be able to pay for their life. I mean, he's like a dad in Cornwall. That's who James is. He's trying to help people. And they're holding him back from even being able to fight for who his pack is, his community, by charging him money that he doesn't even have to get the information to be able to properly answer the question at the debate. Glenn, you should be ashamed of yourself. Cornwall, current administration, not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Yeah, there is something fishy. Well, this is not America. This is Canada. This is Canada. I'm in America. These people are in Canada. This is crazy.
But really, I really can't comment on it.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Poapst?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the situation with the Portlands either. I believe that we do have a beautiful waterfront. City ownership over as much of it as possible. It will definitely benefit the city and the citizens. And restaurants, entertainment, fun things for people to do. I think that can be built anywhere along the water. Cruises, tours, that kind of thing as well.
All right, we're going to pause there and take a break, but we are finding out some things just through this debate. I knew it was going to be exciting. I knew it. But we are learning about some potential corruption in Cornwall. I mean, we actually kind of know that there's corruption. I mean, 5 years for a builder to get a permit, unless you are Glenn's brother-in-law. Nobody can get information about the Portlands unless you pay $5. And I'm sure, what is that, $5 per page? Like, how much money would it cost in general to get information about the Portlands? They can't even discuss it on the panel because people are so poor in Cornwall that they can't afford it unless you're Glenn. All right, so we're going to take a break, everybody. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back.
Public information, you have to pay $5 to get any type of information on it.
All right, so where we left off, they were talking about the development of the Portlands in their area. And in order to get any information on it, you have to pay for the information. We weren't clear as to whether or not the payment was $5 for all of the information or $5 per page or what, but it was something that definitely concerned Mr. James LaRue. Hey, Tommy, how are you doing? Tommy James is in the house. We have a celebrity in here. Tommy James is a Spokane, Washington rapper, artist, and entertainer, not too unlike Mr. MC Frosty when I think about it, who I just interviewed yesterday. What was it, yesterday that you and I spoke? I think it was. So yeah, we're covering the political run of MC Frosty, Mr. Tommy James. Really, when I think about it, Tommy, you and MC Frosty should, without a doubt, connect and do some sort of a collaboration. That would be epic. I think that you two would get along very well. You're both incredibly intelligent men. Extremely so. That would be a very, very interesting thing. All right, so we learned about some very sketchy, shady sorts of practices as of current, at least from my perspective, within the current governing party of Cornwall, Canada. James LaRue, he's not the best public speaker, but he is very authentic and, from what I can perceive, fairly honest. So, yeah.
I really can't comment on it.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Poapst?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the situation with the Portlands either. I believe that we do have a beautiful waterfront. City ownership over as much as possible. It will definitely benefit the city and the citizens. And restaurants, entertainment, fun things for people to do. I think that can be built anywhere along the water. To cruises, tours, that kind of thing as well.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Currently, we're doing an environmental assessment. This is I use Councillor or Bernard Clemma's comments. This is the least sexy part of the project, but that won't determine.
What did he mean by that? The least sexy part of the project? Is any part of the project sexy? Wait a minute. He's talking about the development of the Portlands up in their area for whatever kinds of entertainment venues, hotels, motels, things like that, right? Which would bring additional tourism. And he's talking about it being sexy. How would any of it be sexy? Yeah, how would any of it be sexy? Yeah, they do want someone new. Well, I don't know, but it seems like they would. But he's talking about it being sexy. What? A little strange.
Currently, we're doing an environmental assessment. This is I use Councillor or Bernard Clemma's comments. This is the least sexy part of the project, but that won't determine what we are going to do with it, because we have to identify where the problems are in the environmental soils in order to go ahead. So if you're looking at, I know there's been talks from surveys about residential in that area. If you want to go ahead with some form of residential, which I'm not in favor of, but you would have to get the lands down to a standard that would allow it. So, but we don't know that. We don't know have any information on the environmental assessment. And when we get that, we can go out and consult with the community and have them give their ideas what they would like to see, because we are representing them, and that way. Plus, dealing with Akwesasne, it's been a great relationship, and we're going to continue that relationship.
Thank you so much. Councillor Towndale.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill. So yeah, I think first and foremost, whatever we do there is in partnership with Akwesasne. This is a partnership that the city of Cornwall has with our neighbors in Akwesasne. So it has to be together. And There has been some work ongoing, but it's been 6 years since we've jointly taken that land over. Progress has been slow, in my opinion, and I think it's time to speed it up. The warehouse was torn down, and that's great. Grass was put down, that's great. The environmental assessment is ongoing, and that's great. But not much has happened outside of that. So I think it's time to take a serious look. I know there's frustration from Akwesasne's side based on our lack of activity on our side. I think we're stuck in bureaucracy over there, and I think we really got to speed it up. And there's money there to remediate the tank lands. The tanks are still there, right? This was an issue when I ran in 2014. The tanks are still there. It's time to start looking at remediating that land once this environmental assessment is finished and moving forward there.
Thank you.
It sounds like whoever's in charge of that land right now doesn't want to give it up. That's what it sounds like.
I think from a business standpoint, this is an important issue for a lot of residents, not only the waterfront, but for the Portland specifically. And I encourage all of you to add that to your platforms on your websites and whatnot when you're talking about it. I think it's very important. As far as the Chamber of Commerce is concerned, it's very important. So I'm glad we brought it up, and I thank you for your answers. I will give you 30 seconds, sir.
Thank you.
And I will give everybody 30 seconds.
That sounds like my wife. With the tanks that are currently in there, we're getting revenue from those tanks. And once we get the environmental assessment, but we're going to need dollars to develop that. And we are getting $45,000 a year in revenue for those tanks to be there. We can suspend that license at any time. So as soon as we develop that, we'll cease that, and the tanks will be moved out.
Okay, so whatever this Akwesasne thing is, he's basically saying that unless he's getting more than 45K, there won't be any continuation. He's getting revenue from whatever these tanks are that are on this land. And until he's receiving more money than that 45K, it doesn't sound like at least anything is going to move forward. That's the answer.
Councillor Tandale, you mentioned the tank, so if you'd like 30 seconds, I'll give it to you.
Thank you. And that's fair. But I mean, Mr. Grant said we'll need money to develop it. But when we took those lands from the federal government, we were given money. We received $5 or $6 million to remediate that land. So we have the money. Well, I should say the Portland Corporation has it. So the money's there. Now it's a matter of time. But the money's present. And yeah, we're getting revenue from the tanks. That's great. We're getting revenue from ships that are docking at the harbor. The money is there.
So this man is telling the truth. This man is basically saying, okay, we could move forward with it, but Glenn, for whatever reason, wants to maintain that 45K revenue coming in from these tanks, which is halting the development and the moving forward of these Portlands. Okay, so that's what's going on, and that's probably why Towndale, Justin Towndale is running. Okay. I see what's happening here. Interesting.
All right. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, do you have anything else you want to add at this point?
No additional comment.
I'm just worried about the environmental cleanup. That's going to be, they might say it's 5 million, but it could be like 15 million. Did we do any testing there to find out how deep the environmental goes?
I believe the testing is ongoing, as the mayor alluded to, and Councillor Towndale, that it's ongoing, so they'll be waiting for a report at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Fair question, though. All right, thank you very much. We're going to move on to our next question. I appreciate all of your comments on that last question. Mm-hmm. Before the pandemic, the Cornwall Ontario Chamber of Commerce, Akwesasne, and SD&G were working together to achieve common goals for businesses in all three communities. What can you do as mayor to continue to foster these partnerships going forward? I believe we're at Mr. Poapst.
Yeah, that goes back to one of my primary platform ideas, which is an amalgamation with the outlying areas to kind of create a greater Cornwall area. I think that would streamline the decision making. It would obviously increase the size of council to include the members from the outlying areas as well. And as far as it can be worked with Akwesasne, that would be amazing. And to maybe even have a specific member from Akwesasne on our council to work with any type of developments, that kind of thing. But yeah, I have a picture of growth for Cornwall, and definitely would like to amalgamate with all outlying areas as far as we can go.
All right, thank you.
So again, MC Frosty's
Mr.
about growth,
Thank you.
development, thinking
Currently,
forward.
we have a shared services agreement with the counties, and we meet on a regular basis to talk about it, whether it be paramedics, whether it be long-term care, whatever. There is a number of shared services that we have. And we have a good relationship with that because we have been working hard to recognize some of their deficiencies when it comes to paramedics. And we've been working with them to get more paramedics so they get response times down for their residents. And we've been working at that. We also have shared services, or talk to Akwesasne about shared services as well. And the Portlands is a great idea where that has introduced a trust level and a good communication stream to start talking about issues that are common to both communities. So that is happening on a regular basis, and it continues to happen. There are issues that we are looking at, and I'll talk about them later.
Thank you very much. Councillor Towndale.
Thank you, Bill. So I think, before the pandemic, there was the Tri-Chamber Alliance, so that involved Messina, not so much our neighbors to the east and west of us. But that was a great initiative, and it enabled the three chambers that were involved to host meetings in each community and provide input and insight into each community. And I think to partner, for all the parties to come together and partner, I think it takes discussion. I think it's just getting together, having roundtables like we used to pre-pandemic, and it's up to the city and city council and economic development to support that. There were a number of roundtables held. Some were in Akwesasne, some were in Cornwall. And I think those are great ways for business owners in all the areas to comment on the common struggles and the common needs. And then with representation from all the councils there, they can hear those concerns and work together to find those solutions to support the businesses. Thank you.
Okay, I do want to interject a little bit here in regards to exactly what Akwesasne is, because I just had to Google this. I was thinking, what were they talking about? They're talking about a company. Well, Akwesasne is actually, it appears to be a indigenous Native American, Native Canadian tribe. That's who's in charge of that land, it appears. I'm just going to skim through a little information before I present it to you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see. Who are the Akwesasne? Let's figure some things out here. I hate having to do this in real time. All right, so there's definitely some tensions. There's tensions between the Akwesasne people and the Canadians. They're a Mohawk community. That's the primary tribe. Okay. I see. Doesn't seem like they want to develop the land. It seems like they're open to perhaps, it seems like the waterfront is likely something that's a feasible, something to develop. Maybe they don't need to focus on the Portland area. That's what I'm thinking. All right, so let's go ahead and continue.
Thank you. Mr. LaRue.
Well, I think that we should have talking to all the citizens and get all their inputs so we can move forward to keeping everybody on the same page. If we work together, like everybody else says, we work together as a team, we figure it all out, and we ask the public what is their inputs. And there are people out there that would tell us like their thoughts, and we would work with that. Thank you.
All right. And this is the next question. Businesses, I promise we get back to this part about permits. Businesses in Cornwall have voiced their concerns with city permits, which have not only affected new and existing businesses from moving locations, but also businesses trying to expand within the community. What is your plan to simplify the process for Cornwall businesses to grow and thrive, specifically with permits? And we're going to start with Mayor Glenn Grant.
Thank you very much, Bill, but there isn't a simple answer to this question.
Really?
Whether you are taking an existing building and changing it, there's a change of use process that is dictated by the Environmental Act, plus the Province Act as far as permits go.
Okay, so it seems like the environmental department is where things are getting held up when it comes to issuing the permits. And keep in mind, we had this guy, James LaRue, state earlier that he's been waiting for certain permits for over 5 years, yet this guy's brother-in-law hasn't had any issues with attaining permits. Nepotism, monopoly when it comes to the construction companies, you tell me.
It is not a simple solution because we are restricted in what we can do by provincial legislation. So we try and follow that and perhaps try and amend it as little as possible. But when you get health and safety involved and other issues such as that, we have to look out that we are not putting the city in a liable position. And it's all right to hear people say, my permit wasn't. Well, there's a reason for it. These people who are working in the department aren't doing this just to say no. They're doing it to ensure that it's safe and sound for everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. Councillor Towndale.
Thank you, Bill. Well, I think there are things we can do that aren't required by the provincial legislation. We're not talking about changing the building code, for example.
I mean, what I think is interesting is how safe and sound Glenn's brother-in-law's business appears to be in comparison to James LaRue, who's been waiting for 5 years for some of these permits. I mean, what's the difference? What are the what's the outline? What are the guidelines for the safety and the health and all that kind of stuff? That's what I would like to know.
I think we do need to simplify the process. It's a complaint I hear all the time. We can do everything from having online applications for permits, having the forms available online, and you can submit them online. I think we need to set internal time frames for when permits are approved.
Exactly. It shouldn't take any 5 years. And that's interesting to me that there is no online process as of current, which would be why Jordan Poapst would be an excellent person to get that particular city up to speed when it comes to the age of technology and internet operation and submitting of forms and approvals and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't seem like that city is up to par where it should be in regards to technology. And the question would be why? Because the current governing body doesn't want change? Is that what the reason is as to why?
We don't have that currently as far as I'm aware. You know, a friend of mine had a food trailer he wanted a permit for. It took 10 months. That's not reasonable in my opinion, especially for a small business. So we need to have timeframes where permits, once the application is started, they're issued, no question.
So they are withholding these permits. And this man who's currently holding an office is even saying, you know, I cannot align with Glenn anymore. It's just out of control. Wow. Wow. So this man's interesting. Justin Towndale is interesting because he's been in their ranks. He knows. And he's like, enough is enough. Wow. Glenn, you're in trouble, I think.
Question. I think we also could look at having a task force made up of council members where developers or anyone looking for a permit, if they feel nothing's happening with their permit or it's not advancing, they can come to this task force, and then the task force can bring in our administration and we can sit down together and talk it out and hash it out. That's what I think we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question to you, Mr. LaRue.
I totally agree with Mr. Townsdale because that's basically what needs to be done. Working together as a team and moving fast tracking permits and not, like you said, waiting 10 months for a permit. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mr. Paul.
Yeah, that's another area I'm not too experienced in, being not a member on council. However, yeah, I'm a firm believer in technology. as Mr. Towndale mentioned, online applications, that kind of thing, to speed things up, reduce waste. It may maybe even require more, I guess, permit approval people who works with that. I'm really uneducated in this department, but expanding the department for what's required by our entrepreneurs who actually drive the economy in our city. So
Exactly. They need to get up to speed. I mean, it sounds like they have an incredibly archaic system. Look at that. And Glenn has been in there for 8 years and nothing's changed. And you have not just one man on this panel, but 3, James LaRue, Jordan Poapst, and Justin Town. What's his name again? I can't remember his name. Towndale? What was his name? Justin Towndale, yes. Who are all saying, hey, things need to change. And then you have Glenn on there joking around with the moderator, talking about his wife that has nothing to do with this whole thing, talking about all kinds of things and just kind of evading certain questions. This is very interesting. Really, in my opinion, any of the 3 aforementioned men would be a better choice than Glenn. Wow.
The department for what's required by our entrepreneurs who actually drive the economy in our city. So I would really take a listen to what individuals would have to say and formulate a plan from their information. Specific.
Thank you very much. I'm going to let you guys expand on this. I just want to ask the next question. It's very much expanding on this, and we'll start with you, Mayor Grant. A number of local organizations continue to try and open up new businesses. This is the Chamber of Commerce getting this information, as well as develop housing in Cornwall. But they feel that for one reason or another, the process has stalled virtually to a standstill, and therefore stalling the growth of the city. So how can you be a conduit between businesses and city officials that grant the permits?
Well, in the last 2 months, I've conducted meetings with developers, our CAO, our chief building official, and our manager of that department to listen to the concerns of the developers. And we sat and hammered it out. But sometimes there's not an easy answer. And I'm not here to defend administration, but when we're talking about speeding up permits, you need people. We have so many people, it's hard to find replacement. If you look in the paper, we've got all kinds of openings for people. So it's not a simple process. And that's what I'm trying to say. Even though you can have online.
So that's another means as to how they're stalling things. They're saying, well, we don't have anyone qualified to fill these roles within our system to make these approvals go through. Lots and lots of ways to stall. The environmental process, not having people qualified, having something in place to where you might have somebody who might have a very mild criminal history, but because of the stringent current regulations and legislation they have in place, these people aren't even being considered for certain jobs. Glenn's sitting pretty. And it's interesting, he keeps talking about grants and his name is Glenn Grant. That's irony. All right, here's what we're going to do, because we're only about halfway through this. We are going to make this part 1 of reviewing and recapping and providing commentary on the 2022 Cornwall Ontario Canada mayoral debate. We'll catch back up on this another time. I will probably clean this up, this particular live stream up, and repost it. That way people don't have to sit through the breaks and everything if they choose to watch it. I'll probably repost it over on the Political News Time YouTube channel. But I do want to thank everyone who hung out with me today for this. This is a very interesting situation. I mean, you have a lot of things going on that have never happened before within that city. You have somebody who's an entertainer, a celebrity, a live streamer, an artist, a musician who's entered the race, which has brought a lot of external attention through the media, the independent and established media such as myself, you know, to really take a look at what's happening in the city. You have, I have to call him kind of like a dark horse in this, James LaRue, who is not the most, he's not the most charismatic guy, but he's trying really hard to bring the concerns of his peers to light. And then you have somebody who's been on the inside for quite some time, Justin Towndale, who is basically going against someone that he's worked with, Glenn Grant, who has noticed, hey, these permits are taking too long. Things are taking too long to happen. It's, you know, I mean, from my perspective, it seems like there's some, like a little bit of, I guess you could deem it as nepotism. That might not be the right word. But this man's brother-in-law is a contractor, and he doesn't seem to be having any problems getting permits. But then you got poor James LaRue, who's trying to create affordable housing, including Wi-Fi to help people survive in their city. And he's been waiting for 5 years for a contract to create what I believe he said 2-bedroom apartments. There's a lot going on here, isn't there? So yeah, we'll come back to this another day, probably, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, and we'll catch up. Everyone, make sure that you do subscribe to MC Frosty. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all another time. Bye-bye.